It's Constance with Charming Custom Crafts here on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And I'm coming to you today because I have an awesome share. If you haven't already seen it on my Facebook page, well, you're going to now, because I do go back and put my video links into my shares, and I do post it directly to the page. So I have some shares that I have posted to catch up on, so I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to see them all. And this one I love because I've been wanting to do another Toy Story layout, and I have so many planned I just can't keep up with my mind. You know how the phrase is that there's not enough time in the day, but you're also bored, but you have so much to do you don't know where to start because your mind flies, you guys. My mind on creativity goes at light speed. It's just my body does it no longer. So anyway, this one was cute. My daughter working at Disneyland got a chance. She kind of, as long as she's working there, she gets to go free, which I've been there years and years and years ago. And this is after having vacations at Disney twice. And I can tell you right now, if you have never been to Disneyland or Disney World, start at Disneyland first. Because if you go to Disney World and then to Disneyland, you'll be extremely disappointed. Anyway, but there are parts and pieces in there that, one, are original, two, are extended from the ones here in Florida, and three, you know, I mean, there's just some classic things there, but at the same time, there's things there that they don't have at Disney World. And what I'm going to show you is a little bit of that. And on her day off, she went with her friends too, because people she lives with also works at Disney. It's kind of a community type thing where there's like a site where they actually hook up, and it just makes it easier for them to, you know, be closer to work. Like right now, currently my daughter lives in Anaheim, so she's actually about a mile from Disneyland, though on the 1st she's moving to LA rather than Orange County. She'll be in LA County. Anyway, so she went back, and this is something I do remember that Disneyland had, that it kind of reminds me of Knott's Berry Farm. And yes, folks, if you have been to California, there is Knott's Berry Farm, and I absolutely do not recommend that place. And I have to tell you, sorry the peeps in California, I have been to theme parks from California up to Ohio, down to Florida, and in between, and I gotta tell you, that is the worst park I have ever been to. And I can name you a dozen that are absolutely fabulous. And reasonably priced, but I absolutely do not recommend that place. It's just, it's horrid. Of course, once you go to Disney, it's hard, but I never went to Disney until my daughter was 6, and she's now 20, so for all those years, even before I had my kids, we went to different theme parks, because we weren't always with child, you know. Anyway, so my daughter went with her friends on her day off to Disney, and they happened to stop by, and Woody was there. And if you remember, I believe it's Toy Story 3 on the Wild Wilderness with Woody. You guys, if I could play that for you, I could probably, people like to turn me in for music, which I don't know why, because I make it so much more fun. Squirrel. So that's for a certain person out there. Anyway, so, you know, I had a little fun with this because he's out in the wild wilderness, which makes no sense because at the same time, he's in the desert. So, you know, it's funny. You're going to see me do more of them. Anyway, so I took the 2 pictures of my daughter, and I had a little bit of fun. And to the person, I don't want to say Sierra, you did purchase my brother's Scan and Cut CM350. I actually did this layout on here, and you will see that I left the images on the machine as saved data, so that if you want to do this, you can obviously do it. But here is my layout called HOWDY! How do I know that? I have a hick family. Of course, I could get into talking, but I don't think y'all want to know how to talk if I have to. So, as you can see here, if you have, with my brother's Scan and Cut, whether I have the new Design and Cut or not, it'll still do the same thing. If you have a die cutting machine, you can do that. Or you can go ahead and go on Google and find the images and blow it up on your printer. It's not a big deal. So, I ended up finding an image, and I have it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and put it on pictures afterwards. But they were just Google pictures of sheriff badges. So I used the outline on one and the inline for the other one. And it's more of the pointed stars what I did on this. And I'll show you what kind of paper here. This is actually a phrase that I did find, and I cut it twice, and I'll show you that a little closer in a minute. And I had a whole bunch of embellishments that I've already had pre-made and cut and have had stocked. And if you guys saw how much I had stocked, wait until you see what I have for sale here. It's getting insane in this room. I need to clear it out. I've actually decided I'm going to move into this room because I want to downsize. So I don't want to, but I think it'll be a lot easier so I don't overwhelm myself sometimes. Anyway, so of course this is an EK sticker, and I will get to that. The trees in the background, I had done a long time ago. I believe I used I think it was my silhouette that I used that on. And then I have the picket fence, horse fence in the back. And then I have a little bit of other trees in here. And then I have some tree stumps, and I'm going to get closer to it so you guys can see it here shortly. And then you see a tree stump here. And then the main focus obviously is pictures of my daughter. This is actually Polaroid images that I scanned into my machine, which if any of you guys have an electric machine, a lot of times you can how's that word? Transfer over SVG files. The design and cut is a whole new wave. I will get to that more, I promise you, because I have plans for that in the next week or two. I'm hoping to take breaks in between doing videos for destashing. If you guys have never been part of my destashes, you do not want to miss out. They're big. Anyway, you guys will see later. But at the same time, I cut these out. I cut the Polaroid, stretched it out. No, you know what? I did that and I didn't like it, so I actually designed my own with the rectangle, and I did two different lengths of them the way I want, and I cut out two in white. Now what I did with this, and again I'll get closer here in a minute, I actually just took a black permanent Sharpie marker and I made some cow print on it. So there's never a wrong answer to that. At the bottom here, and again you're going to enjoy this as I get to the bottom of it, you can not see it quite yet, but it's in there. I have a wagon wheel here, and then these are my tumbleweeds. And I will get to that anyway. This is that fuzzy, hairy yarn. And then down here I have a piece of parchment paper that's, to me, it's parchment when I made it, but the way I made it to look more like leather or suede, because I'm going to be writing some information in here. And then if you look really closely, there's something slick and slimy growing or climbing around at the bottom. And of course, y'all know there's a snake in my boots. Well, outside of his boots, but it's coming towards you. So let me get a little closer and I'll describe it. And there's clouds in the back too. This is more of a three-dimensional layout. So I'm going to start at the top. If you can see, let me see if I can pull this around because I don't have my light on because of my camera. So let's see if I can get it to focus. You know what? It's going to drive me crazy. Let me get down on the table. I need to get a splitter because I'm not used to this. Alright, let me unplug something. I don't know if it was my machine or my computer. So, at least I can do my tabletop one. I'm not going to get into so much. See? God made light and I switched on a switch. So, if you look up at the top here, so let me get a better lighting. Come over here, light. Look at you. Come here. There we go. If you can see that it is three-dimensional sun. And then with the HOWDY, I actually cut it twice. If you look, I actually have it in a wood grain paper. And then HOWDY is in black. And again, this is an image you can easily find online. The sheriff star is metallic gold and glitter, dull glitter paper. If you can see it. It is two different kinds of paper, and I have a real issue giving up my really good paper when it comes to the foil and the glitter, but in my family I do. I save my scraps and I use them for punch outs, but I don't generally use it because if you guys go, it's usually $2 a sheet. But again, you can see that I use typical cardstock for the black or the white, and then just used a black Sharpie. I did use liquid pearl in the bronze to look like more of nails in the corners that you can see. The trees are three-dimensional, multi-layer, as well as the picket fence, which if you can see, I put some in the front and also in the back. What is that? Okay, fuzzy. I have other projects. I got little fuzzy things everywhere. but it's in front and in back, and I multi-layered and crossed over on them. As you can see, Woody's awesome. His hat looks more like a plastic, like he is, but if you look, it is multi-layered with different types of paper, and this is real denim. It's a very thin denim, but it's like a fabric sticker, so it is thin denim type design. And then down here, I put a stump, a tree stump, so it looked more like we're out in the woods somewhere and did some cutting to build some cabin. As if you could see in the picture here, this is a wild wilderness fort. And I haven't been there in a long time, but I know it's there because I got pictures of the kids there when they were younger. You can see how happy my daughter is. She gets to hug Woody. Isn't she cute? That was a trip for her 20th birthday, though. She goes on. We are Disney fanatics, if you guys do not know that. We are nuts about Disney. But if you can see down here, I put, again, another tree stump. And then there's my wagon wheel. I did that in a different kind of paper. It is different from this one because you can see that's more of a light wood green. And then this is more of a dark walnut wood green. And then I used some, and I lived in Arizona for 3 years, and I did see tumbleweeds, not as often as people think. More probably on the open plains, but I was by the Sierra Mountains range, so yeah, you do see them on a rare occasion, but very rare. But tumbleweeds are just basically like hard weed, kind of thorny, but they're just, if you hit them with your car, it just breaks apart. It's the coolest type thing in the world. I don't even have to describe it. So I ended up taking this yarn and I flipped it in as many directions as I could with hot glue. And then I took a piece of parchment paper, I wadded it up, used many different spritz and sprays and inks from Tim Holtz to Glimmer Angel. You guys know Shimmer Angel Glimmer Mist or whatever it is. I've used that. I've used Recollection in here too. And then here, this little snake I actually did cut. And then I made sure, if you can see the coloring, that he looked more like a sunburnt rattlesnake. And if you've never been in the Southwest area, and I'll explain that in a minute. But you could also see a little liquid pearl for a little tongue sticking out. And the little eyes, they are three-dimensional. I don't know if I can see it. They're little three-dimensional. They are kind of spooky. And then I have another tumbleweed on the other side. So I do have this layout. Now, again, if you have never seen a rattlesnake, I am from the East Coast. Our snakes do not get as big as you think. I am more fearful of black snakes because more than half in this country is a cottonmouth, which is the most dangerous snake in the United States. Anacondas are in the south down here in Florida, but you won't see them. Not like rattlesnakes. Like I said, I'm fearful of cottonmouths. But the rattlesnakes in Arizona are so much bigger than anything on the East Coast. I've seen them where their heads are like this big. And don't ask about the body. Let's just say they use a 5-gallon, 50-gallon drum. Those big metal drums. I have seen them put one snake in that because a bag will not hold it. And it's creepy. So, this snake, I guess, to a point is right, but the coloring's about right. I tried to go ahead and crinkle him just a little bit, but I used 4 different colors to give him that coloring that I wanted to. But I've used one tumbleweed behind it and one in front because you're generally never going to see 2 go at the same time. And like snowflakes, they are never 2 the same. So I had a little fun with that. But that is my howdy layout, folks, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the pictures. And Sierra, this was made on my brother's Cannons Cut CM350, which is now yours. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to explain it, not only on this machine that I now have the design and cut, or on the 350 CM model. Okay, bye guys.